All right, so you're getting ready for a container equipment design engineer interview, huh?
That's great.
That's awesome. We're talking about designing tanks, boilers,
Yeah.
pressure vessels,
All the things that,
all the things that safely hold stuff under pressure. It's a field with a lot of responsibility, and we're here to make sure you nail that interview.
yeah, it's a fascinating area and a critical one as industries grow and need more specialized equipment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You sent over a great career guide and some sample interview questions from RoleCatcher, which we'll dive into.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, have you tried their AI features?
I have.
They analyze job descriptions to help tailor your answers. It's like having a personal coach in your pocket.
Now it's fantastic.
But we'll get to that later. For now, let's focus on getting you prepped.
Sounds good. Before we jump into the questions, it's worth mentioning that the outlook for this role is very positive.
Okay.
There's a growing need for energy-efficient equipment, plus the chemical and manufacturing sectors are beaming.
Wow.
That translates into a lot of opportunity for skilled engineers.
Okay, so the demand is there. That's encouraging. But the career guide also mentions that it can be high stress, requires constant learning. Are there any specific rewards that make it all worthwhile?
Absolutely. Um, One of the most fulfilling aspects is the problem-solving nature of the work.
Right.
You're constantly challenged to find innovative solutions to complex technical problems. And when you see your designs come to life, knowing they're contributing to safety and efficiency in various industries, that's incredibly rewarding.
I can see how that would be a great feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, let's dive into those interview questions. The first one is, what inspired you to pursue a career in container equipment design? It seems straightforward, but I bet there's more to it than just saying you like to build things.
Yeah, you're right. This question is about showcasing your passion and giving the interviewer a glimpse into what drives you. Think back to what sparked your interest.
Yeah.
Was it a specific project, a mentor, maybe a fascination with how things work? Whatever it was, weave it into a story that highlights your skills and what led you to this field.
So should we have a whole origin story ready?
Okay.
Like a superhero, but for container design.
Exactly. But instead of a radioactive spider, it might be a particularly engaging physics class or a childhood spent tinkering with your dad's toolbox.
I love that. Now, what if they follow up with something like, why this company specifically?
That's where your research comes in. Highlight something specific about the company that resonates with you. Maybe it's their commitment to sustainability, a particular project they're working on, or their company culture. Show them you've gone beyond just reading their About Us page.
Okay, so do your homework is definitely key takeaway number one. Let's move on to question two. What are the key challenges you face when designing container equipment? This one seems pretty technical.
It is. The interviewer wants to see that you understand the complexities of the job.
Right.
You could talk about balancing competing requirements like weight, strength, durability, cost.
Yeah.
Don't forget to mention regulatory compliance and safety standards. And always back up your points with specific examples.
This is like a time you had to make a design lighter, but still able to withstand extreme temperatures.
Exactly. Maybe you had to choose a specific material due to its corrosion resistance, even though it added to the cost. Real-world examples like that demonstrate your problem-solving skills and your understanding of the trade-offs involved.
Got it. Practical experience trumps textbook knowledge every time. Let's move on to the third question. How do you ensure that container equipment meets regulatory and safety standards? Safety is a huge deal in this field.
It is, and interviewers want to see you take it seriously.
Yeah.
Mention specific standards like ISO CSC for shipping containers or the IMDG code for hazardous materials. You can talk about your rigorous testing procedures, how you stay updated on the latest regulations, and your overall approach to ensuring compliance.
It's not just about knowing the rules, but about having a system in place to make sure those rules are followed at every step.
Right? Exactly. You want to show them you have a proactive mindset when it comes to safety.
All right, on to question four. How do you collaborate with other teams, such as manufacturing and logistics, to ensure successful implementation of container equipment design? So teamwork is a big deal here, too.
Absolutely. No engineer is an island.
Okay.
Highlight your communication skills and your ability to work effectively with others. You could mention strategies like holding regular meetings, keeping detailed documentation, and being open to feedback. The key is to show them you're not just a brilliant designer, but also a team player.
And if they ask for a specific example of a time you had to navigate a conflict or miscommunication with another team.
Be prepared with a story that demonstrates your ability to resolve issues constructively. Maybe there was a disagreement over a design element, and you had to facilitate a discussion to find a compromise that met everyone's needs.
So it's not just about avoiding conflict, but about knowing how to handle it when it inevitably arises. Makes sense. Let's move on to question 5. How do you keep up to date with the latest trends and technologies in container equipment design? This field is always changing, right?
It is. The interviewer wants to see that you're a lifelong learner, someone who's passionate about staying ahead of the curve. You could mention industry conferences, you attend technical journals you read, or online forums where you participate.
Don't be afraid to get specific here. Mention a recent advancement that caught your eye, and maybe how you think it will impact the industry.
That's a great point. For instance, maybe you're fascinated by the use of 3D printing in container design.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Show them that you're not just keeping up, but also looking ahead.
Less of that. Always be learning. Let's tackle question 6. Can you describe your experience with designing container equipment for hazardous materials? Things just got serious.
They did. This is where you showcase your understanding of the extra precautions and regulations involved when working with hazardous materials. Talk about your familiarity with the UN regulations and the IMDG code. Be prepared to discuss specific projects where you had to consider factors like containment pressure relief systems and emergency venting.
So it's not just about the design itself, but about the entire life cycle of the container, from manufacturing to transport to disposal, right?
Exactly. You need to demonstrate a holistic understanding of the risks and responsibilities involved.
Okay, on to question 7. Can you give an example of a project where you had to balance competing design requirements such as weight strength and cost? That sounds like a real-world juggling act.
It often is.
Yeah.
This is your chance to showcase your problem-solving skills and your ability to make informed decisions under constraints. Choose a project that demonstrates your ability to analyze the situation, consider all the factors, and arrive at a solution that meets the needs of the project.
And be prepared to explain your thought process. Why did you make the choices you did? What were the trade-offs you considered?
Exactly. The interviewer wants to see that you can think critically and justify your decisions.
Right.
Don't just tell them what you did, tell them why you did it.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, before we move on, let's talk a bit more about RoleCatcher's AI. You mentioned it earlier, how it helps tailor answers. Can you give us an example of how that works?
Sure. Let's say you're applying for a job that emphasizes experience with a specific type of pressure vessel. RoleCatcher's AI can analyze the job description and identify keywords related to that pressure vessel type. Then, when you're practicing your answers, it can suggest ways to weave those keywords into your responses, highlighting your relevant experience.
It's like having an insider tip on what the hiring manager is really looking for.
Exactly. It helps you fine-tune your responses and make sure you're hitting the right notes.
That's incredible. And you mentioned something about feedback too, right?
Yes, RoleCatcher also offers AI-powered feedback on your responses. It can analyze your answers for clarity, conciseness, and relevance to the job description. It can even flag potential issues like using jargon the interviewer might not understand or focusing too much on irrelevant details.
So it's like having a virtual interview coach helping you polish your performance.
Hmm.
That's amazing. We've covered a lot of ground in this first segment. In our next segment, we'll delve into the career path itself, discussing things like career progression, networking, and those all-important certifications. Stay tuned.
Sounds good. Welcome back.
Absolutely. We just finished dissecting those tricky interview questions, and now I'm curious to explore the career path itself.
Right.
The guide mentioned different stages, entry-level, junior, senior. What does that progression look like?
Think of it as a journey where your responsibilities and expertise grow with each step. At the entry level, you're typically assisting senior engineers learning the ropes and getting hands-on experience with design software. It's a crucial phase for building a solid foundation.
So it's like an apprenticeship. You're learning from the masters before taking on bigger challenges.
That's a great analogy. Then as you transition into a junior role, you start taking on more independent design tasks, collaborating more directly with production teams, and even mentoring newer engineers. It's a time for applying what you've learned and developing your leadership skills.
And finally, the senior container equipment design engineer. What does that role entail?
At the senior level, you're leading projects, making critical design decisions, overseeing the entire design process, and often mentoring a team of engineers. It's a position of significant responsibility and leadership where your expertise and judgment are highly valued.
That sounds like a challenging but rewarding position to work towards.
Yeah.
But what about those early days? Any tips for landing that first entry-level position?
Absolutely. The career guide emphasizes the importance of building a strong foundation through hands-on experience. Internships are invaluable.
Right.
They give you real-world exposure and make your resume stand out. Consider volunteering for projects related to container design or joining student engineering organizations. It's all about demonstrating your passion, initiative, and willingness to learn.
So it's not just about grades, it's about showing that you're actively applying your knowledge and seeking out opportunities to grow.
Exactly. Employers want to see that you're not just a passive learner, but an active contributor.
And speaking of showcasing your skills, the guide also mentioned the importance of creating a portfolio. What exactly should we be highlighting in there?
Think of your portfolio as a curated collection of your best work, your design highlights. Include any relevant projects, even those from university. Demonstrate your mastery of CAD software, your understanding of design principles, and your ability to solve real-world problems. The key is to present your work in a clear, concise, and visually appealing way that grabs the viewer's attention.
That makes sense. But with so many projects to choose from, how do we decide what to include? And how do we tailor it to each specific job?
That's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in handy again. Remember how it can analyze job descriptions?
Yeah.
It can actually help you identify the most relevant projects for your portfolio based on the skills and experiences the employer is seeking.
So it's like having a personal curator for your design work. That's fantastic. Now let's shift gears and talk about networking. The guide emphasized attending industry events, joining professional organizations, and connecting on LinkedIn. Why is networking so important in this field?
Networking is about building relationships, expanding your knowledge base, and opening doors to opportunities you might not otherwise find. It's about connecting with people who share your passion for container design, learning from their experiences, and staying informed about the latest industry trends.
So it's not just about handing out business cards and hoping for the best.
Not at all. It's about engaging in meaningful conversations, asking thoughtful questions, and genuinely connecting with people.
Okay, so how do we make those connections count? What's the best way to follow up after meeting someone interesting in an event?
Personalize your follow-up. Send a LinkedIn connection request mentioning something specific you discussed or an article they might find interesting. If someone truly inspires you, don't hesitate to reach out for an informational interview.
So be genuine, be memorable, and don't be afraid to reach out. Got it. Now let's talk certifications. The guide mentioned a few like the Professional Engineer, PE, license, the Certified SolidWorks Professional, CSWP, and the ASME Boiler and Pressure Vessel Code, BPVC certification. Are these essential for career advancement?
While not always mandatory certifications can give you a competitive edge, they demonstrate a high level of expertise and a commitment to professional development, which employers value.
That makes sense. So tell me more about these specific certifications. What doors do they open?
A PE license is highly respected and often required for senior roles, leadership positions, or if you want to work independently as a consultant. It shows you've met rigorous standards and have the experience and knowledge to take on greater responsibility.
Okay, so the PE is like a seal of approval from your engineering peers.
You could say that. It carries a lot of weight in the industry. Then there's the CSWP certification. This one focuses on SolidWorks, a widely used CAD software in the industry. It demonstrates your proficiency in using this software to create complex designs.
So having that certification on your resume signals to employers that you're ready to hit the ground running.
Exactly. It saves them time and money on training and shows them you have the technical skills they're looking for. Finally, there's the ASME BPVC certification.
That one sounds intense. What's it all about?
The ASME BPVC certification is all about safety. It focuses on the Boiler and Pressure Vessel Code, a set of industry standard rules and guidelines for designing and constructing these types of equipment. Holding this certification demonstrates your deep understanding of safety codes and your commitment to designing equipment that meets the highest safety standards.
So it's not just about building things that work, it's about building things that are safe for everyone involved. That makes a lot of sense. But with so many certifications out there, how do we know which ones to prioritize?
Start by researching the specific requirements of your target roles. Look at industry trends and see which certifications are in high demand. Also, don't underestimate the power of talking to experienced professionals in the field. They can offer valuable insights and guidance based on their own career journeys.
And I bet RoleCatcher can help here too.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher's AI can analyze job descriptions to identify which certifications are most frequently mentioned, giving you insights into what employers are looking for. It can also help you map out a personalized certification roadmap based on your career goals and the skills you want to develop.
RoleCatcher, our trusty career sidekick.
It is.
Now, before we move on to our final segment, I'm curious about one more thing. The guide mentioned showcasing your capabilities beyond just the portfolio. What are some other ways to stand out from the crowd?
Consider presenting at conferences or publishing technical papers related to container equipment design. These activities not only allow you to share your knowledge and gain recognition, but also demonstrate your passion and willingness to go above and beyond.
That's impressive.
Hmm.
So we're not just designing amazing equipment, we're contributing to the knowledge and advancement of the entire field.
Exactly. It's about being an active participant in the professional community, sharing your expertise and learning from others.
Okay, before we move on to our final segment, let's recap the key takeaways from this part of our deep dive.
We've explored the career progression of a container equipment design engineer from entry-level to senior roles, highlighting the increasing responsibilities and leadership opportunities along the way. We've discussed the importance of hands-on experience, building a compelling portfolio networking strategically, and pursuing relevant certifications to demonstrate your expertise and commitment to the field.
So much valuable information. But wait, there's more. In our final segment, we'll delve into some final thoughts and expert insights to help you ace that interview and land your dream job. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the world of container equipment design engineers.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground from technical skills to career advice, and I'm feeling super pumped for you.
I hope so.
Give us the golden nuggets of wisdom. What are the absolute must-dos before walking into that interview room?
Well, preparation is key. Research the company thoroughly.
Okay.
Understand their products, their mission, their values.
Right.
Go beyond just skimming their website. Delve into their recent projects, their company culture, their contributions to the industry.
So show them you've done your homework and that you're genuinely interested in being part of their team. What else?
Practice your answers to common interview questions.
Of course.
Don't just memorize a script, but focus on conveying your passion, your skills, and your experiences in a natural and engaging way. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI-powered video analysis.
Yeah.
Use that to refine your delivery and nonverbal communication.
Practice makes perfect, especially with the help of some AI coaching. Now, what about those curveball questions, the ones that seem to come out of nowhere? Any advice for handling those gracefully?
Stay calm, take a breath, and don't be afraid to ask for clarification or a moment to gather your thoughts. It's better to pause and think than to blurt out something you'll regret.
Great advice. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, salary expectations. How should we approach that topic?
Research industry benchmarks so you know your worth. Be prepared to discuss your salary expectations in a confident and professional manner. But remember, the interview isn't just about salary. Focus on showcasing your value to the company and how your skills align with their needs.
That's a delicate balance.
Okay.
Any last tips for leaving a lasting impression in those final moments of the interview?
Always ask thoughtful questions.
Yeah.
It shows your engagement and your genuine interest in the role and the company. Reiterate your enthusiasm for the position and thank the interviewers for their time. And don't forget the power of a follow-up thank you note within 24 hours.
Those little touches can make a big difference. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your ultimate piece of advice for aspiring container equipment design engineers. What's the secret sauce? The thing that will set them apart from the competition?
Never stop learning. This field is constantly evolving, so embrace continuous learning and stay curious. Attend conferences, read industry publications, connect with experts, be a lifelong learner. That insatiable thirst for knowledge will make you a better engineer and a more valuable asset to any company.
So well said. It's all about that growth mindset. Well, I think we've covered it all. From technical expertise to career advice and interview strategies, we've given you the tools to conquer that interview and embark on an exciting career as a container equipment design engineer.
And remember, RoleCatcher is your ultimate companion on this journey. Utilize their AI features, explore their resources, and practice, practice, practice.
I believe in you.
Go out there and rock that interview. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive Now.